I'm trying to curb my expectations, because I know when I get super expectation, that's not right, I know. Good morning, it is about 8 AM and it is Tuesday the 4th of July, if I remember right. Yeah, 4th of July, Independence Day. Not here in the UK obviously, but to our American cousins it's Independence Day, so happy Independence Day. Yeah, 8 AM and I'm currently on the A417, I think, on my way to Litchfield, the tuner that is known for being the premier place for tuning Nissan GTRs. Well, not just a tuner, obviously a garage. We do all sorts of cars, Aston Martins, McLarens, BMWs, but generally more performance vehicles. And I'm going to Litchfield today because I'm having a big brake kit installed to the car. So I'm getting rid of the stock Brembo brakes and having an Alcon Big Brake Kit installed. Now, I've been thinking about getting big brakes on this car for a while, since having the car for the last 4 years. The brakes have never felt good, not like you'd expect on a car of this performance. And it was always confirmed to me by Litchfield and others that, yeah, the Nissan GTR does lack somewhat in the brake department. I did have bigger brake discs installed underneath the stock calipers. I think they're 400 or 405mm discs. What we're going for today, or the next couple of days at least, because it's more than a one-day job to fit this kit, is the Alcon Big Brake Kit all round, and I believe the front discs are 410mm and the backs are going to be 380, something like that. I'll verify after the job is done. And also the calipers will be changed as well. So new calipers all round, new pads, there'll be Pagid pads, whereas at the moment I think I've got Ferodos or something similar. I've been thinking about it for a while, but what cemented that decision was that when I was at the Nürburgring in April, just a few short months ago, halfway through the day the brakes started to feel uncomfortable. The brakes still stopped the car, but there's a shudder in the car, not so much through the wheel, but I can just feel it underneath me and towards the back of the vehicle. It doesn't feel as stable as it always used to, so I've decided now is the time, let's just get it all changed. So getting that done today is going to take, normally I would stay at Litchfield for the day, work out of their reception, and then drive home in the afternoon, but they want the car until tomorrow. It's a full day's job. I'm not going to pick the car up tomorrow, I'm going to pick it up on Thursday instead. And there's a couple of other bits I need to add to their job car today. I found that the window washers don't work, which is why the screen is so dirty. So I'll have them look at that as well. When I was driving home from the Nürburgring on the M25, it's got this horrible section where, you know, the car goes ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. They do that to like keep you awake or whatever it is. But I noticed that sort of from the front right of the car, there was like a chink, 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 like two really big bits of metal hitting each other. So I've asked them just to look at that as well. Every now and then, in the few miles that I do in this car each week or every other week or every 3 weeks, is the traction controllers coming on at the oddest of times. And that's the job card for the next couple of days. So because I'm leaving the car there, they're going to give me a car to bring home and then drive back. You'd like to think it'll be another GTR or one of their McLarens, but in reality it's going to be like, it'll be the little Suzuki that they have there, or I think it's a Suzuki. So just coming into the Litchfield area now. This is the trading estate, I guess you'd call it, industrial estate, trading estate, I don't know what exactly you'd call it, industrial estate I suppose. And the thing I dislike the most about coming to Litchfield, well the only thing, well no, there's two things I dislike. One is how far that I have to travel to get here, but the second thing I dislike, which I dislike more than the distance, is the road that you have to drive down to get to Litchfield, which actually today it looks like they've started fixing it, and there's still a big drop there on the right, still a bit of a drop here. Actually it's a lot better than it used to be. This Suzuki Swift will likely be the car that I will be driving home, and here we are, the home of Nissan GTRs. Let's park up and drop the car off. Normally I'd park up near where the Suzuki is, but there isn't really room today, so let's pull up here. So here's the courtesy vehicle that I've been given by Litchfield. Now, normally it's a Suzuki Swift that I've had here, but this is a Volkswagen Taygo, and it doesn't look too bad. It's even got USB-C ports, so it's pretty new. Yeah, looking forward to driving this home. Probably got to put fuel in it. I guess it's a diesel. I don't know. I'll work it out when I get there, but yeah, looking forward to driving this. So I've just picked up the GTR from Litchfield in Tewkesbury, driving it home with the new Alcon Big Brake Kit, and they are big brakes. They were washing the car up when I got there, and I just had a look, and they look absolutely massive. I mean, it might be an optical illusion, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how the old brakes looked, but it certainly feels like they look a lot bigger on the front and on the back as well. The discs are bigger all round, but I'm talking about the calipers themselves just look absolutely massive under the 20-inch wheels. I'm currently bedding them in. I'm not braking hard. I want to make sure that these settle correctly, that the pads and calipers mate with the discs properly, and that they're not going to have any issues on track. So I'm being careful to make sure that we bed these in fairly sensibly. So I'm not doing any heavy braking at the moment, not driving too fast, not doing heavy stops. We'll do this for about 100 miles, and then maybe we'll do another 100 miles where we start to increase the pressure, brake from like 60 down to 40 and all that kind of stuff, like I was doing with the Mini when I put the AP racing brakes on. But I'm looking forward to seeing how these perform. The guys at Litchfield seem very confident that I will notice a huge boost in the braking performance over the standard calipers. I'm trying to curb my expectations, because I know when I get super expectation, that's not right, I know when I get super expectant, you know what I'm saying, then it can only be dashed. I try to keep myself grounded. So I'm not trying to get too hyped up for how good these brakes are going to be. I mean, they're not carbon ceramics. I'm not expecting huge performance. I'm trying to be sensible. But I do have high hopes. I do have hopes. Now, while it was there, we had the windscreen washers fixed, so they now work. And I did get an interesting comment. Well, not a comment. They actually did something which they didn't even bother to ask me if it was okay to do it, because it just had to be done. Very rare that a garage does that. Typically, they ask you first before they do something that requires you to spend money. But they just did it. So at first, when you hear that, you think, don't like the idea of a garage just doing something and it's going to cost money, and they don't tell me. But with this, it was one of those things where it makes sense. I would have told them to do it anyway if they had have asked. But it was actually where there's a charcoal canister at the back on the driver's side, just in front of the wheel, I believe, where fuel sits, and this had got absolutely full. They did ask me if I'd started to smell fuel. I said, well, no, I haven't smelled any fuel. I said, okay, well, it's full up, and it had also come loose and was hanging, wasn't properly positioned, and it needed replacing, so they replaced it because it made sense. And the reason for that is because it had actually become a fire hazard. So at any point when I was driving along with the right knock and with maybe a loose or damaged wiring loom in that area, there could have been a spark, and the back of the car could have gone up in flames. So fortunately it wasn't expensive. It was like 150 quid, some VAT, and half an hour to fit it. So, you know, it probably added something like £200 to the bottom line on today's costs. So when you think of the risks, it's actually a small price to pay. And when you think of how much I was paying for the upgrade of the brakes all round, it was a fraction of the cost, and you know, it just made sense. So driving it home, we'll get some pictures up of how these look, this new brake kit, and you can see it for yourself. I'm just looking forward to the performance. I'm just looking forward to seeing how it does on the road and on track. It's got Pagid pads, so it's going to be better suited for high temps, but I'm told it should still perform well at low temps, but we'll see